Welcome. This is Ashley's Heart Song, and this is where we get out of the stress and back into our body, our life, and our business. Y'all, when we tap into the song of our heart, that is when we master the mind and the stress that steals our life. I am thrilled that you are here for Ashley's Heart Song today because I have a very, very special guest. And yes, we normally start out with our vitality score. And so let's do that just quick as a wink, okay? So the vitality score is made up of your mental fitness or your mental health in this place today, and then emotional, physical, and spiritual. So let's start out with your mental health score today. On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you feel mentally? Are you mentally strong? Do you have clarity of thinking? Are you just on point with your thoughts and what you're going to do? That is closer to a 10. Or if you are a little below the line in your thinking, it's like less than, can't do, any thoughts like that, you're going to score lower, closer to a 1. So write down this vitality score for help for your mental health. All right. Now, next is your emotional. Where are you emotionally today on a scale of 1 to 10? 10, do you feel emotionally balanced? Do you feel lighthearted, joyful? That could be closer to a 10. Or do you feel a little imbalanced emotionally? Maybe you're a little moody or a little edgy, a little sharp. You could be closer to a 1. So write down the vitality score for emotional health. Then we have the physical. Physically, where are you today? Physically, are you feeling strong, capable, mobile, flexible? The guest that we have today is all about that embodiment practice. So this is going to be a very fun conversation we'll have that'll help you if you're in scoring low physically. Then this conversation today will hopefully, which I know for sure will help you level up in that. But physically, are you feeling really strong, or are you below a 5? Are you feeling kind of weak today, fatigued? And then your spiritual health. Where are you spiritually from 1 to 10? Spiritually, are you in alignment? Are you connected? Did you take time this morning to connect? Did you go into gratitude, get yourself set for the day? Where are you in that? That is closer to a 10 if you're aligned and connected and feeling that joyful little nudging, or are you disconnected? Did you wake up in a rush? Are you feeling separated? Then that is going to be closer to that 1 score. Tally up your totals, y'all. The high score is a 40. This is not about judgment. It is not about saying, oh man, I know I can do better. No, 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 no. It's not about that. It's about learning how to check in every single day to get you present, aligned, balanced, sharp, on point. That's what it's about. It's about just reminding you that you have the power each and every day to either change this, to take steps, actionable steps to elevate each one of these 4 areas and aspects of you, or it's we don't and we stay where we are. So if you want to rise, then you check into it and you take this score seriously, y'all, and do those actionable steps that'll help you elevate. And today's guest is going to help you do just that. Just that, y'all. Let me read a little bit about Cynthia so that you can connect with her on an even deeper level and know what questions to ask her when we open up the lines to the live audience. Cynthia is the founder of the Embodiment Advantage method and has been empowering individuals and organizations for over 20 years to confidently embody their brilliance, for elevated mental fitness, resilience, and mission-driven professional impact. Cynthia is an ex-professional dancer who transformed her struggles with compulsive eating and chronic health concerns into a journey of self-love, deep reverence for her body, and appreciation for the mind-body connection. She is the author of 3 nationally recognized developmental programs, and she has trained business groups in almost every major city of the US. Y'all, and I do have to put in a little bit of my own my own little bio on her. So Cynthia is very near and dear to me because during the darkest time of my life, when I was going through that fear of eating, I was so afraid to put a morsel of food in my mouth. And it was a dark spot. It was a real struggle. And Cynthia is the beautiful soul that helped me rise out of that with her her ability to be present with me, but also just to guide and direct me and just to work with me in the space where I was. And so I would love to introduce y'all to just that ever present, lovely being, Cynthia Stadd. Thank you, Cynthia.
Oh my gosh, I'm bringing tears to my eyes to start this thing, Ashley. Ooh, that was
Oh,
beautiful.
you do. You hold that special place in my heart for always. I mean, you rescued me, Cynthia. You were
Mm,
used in my life to rescue me, and I am just so grateful. So grateful.
I'm so grateful you came into my life too, Ashley. Here we are, what, 15 years later?
Right?
Something like that.
Maybe even more. It was
Wow.
2011,
Oh, it's
right? So, oh,
2011.
so it's right at 15. You're right. Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. So, Cynthia, why don't you help us all understand why you even got on this journey of coaching in this realm, right? Helping me. What made you just get started with that?
Yeah, as I suppose a lot of coach healer type people, it's something that you overcome personally, and then you're like, oh, I kind of figure some things out. Maybe I can help another person. Um, that's my story. I never thought I would be a coach, teacher, facilitator. Like, was not in my plan. My only plan was to be a Broadway performer. That was it. That's all I cared about. But I did have an eating disorder back in my teens and 20s, like my whole 20s. And my eating disorder wasn't even in the DSM at the time. There was no name for it. It was, now it is. And it was binge eating disorder, what they now call BED, which is bulimia without the throwing up or purging part. It's just the eating part, putting a lot of food in your mouth on a regular basis, and then it stays there. So, and I was a professional dancer pounding the pavement in New York City. And as you might imagine, my weight just kept going up and up and up and up, and my health was an absolute mess from the amount of food coming in my body and the type of food I was eating, which was all junk. So it destroyed my life. Honestly, it brought everything to a screeching halt. My career came to my dancing career came to a screeching halt. And as we look back, we say things that happen. Our teachers are there for our soul journey, and that's exactly what happened. I had to shut down my life and say, well, if I don't deal with this, I'm going to die, literally. So what's it going to be? And I did. I shut down everything. I stopped performing. I stopped auditioning. I stopped doing everything I was doing and went on a journey of healing my eating disorder. And much to my surprise, that journey had nothing to do with the food. It had nothing to do with nutrition or the fact that pizza exists or Oreos. It had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with me, my level of connection with myself, my level of what I call now mental fitness. What was I saying to myself? How was I treating myself? What was my operating system? What was I believing about myself, about the world, about anyone else? Right. So it was relational. It was a soul journey. It was what's really up with my values and my passions. It was, what am I here for? My purpose, right? And all of this was so blocked. It was so shut down, that I had no access to it all. The food was covering it up, literally. That's why I was doing it.
Mhm.
So to be able to heal the disorder and the eating behaviors, I had to peel all that apart. I had to open up the gates and really go where I did not want to go to heal it. And that's what I did. And much to my surprise, not only did that stop those unwanted behaviors of eating, but it brought me into a whole new realm of understanding. When people throw around this term of mind-body connection or soul journey, oh, I really understood it now. That this was much deeper than the food or nutrition or anything in that realm. It was so much deeper. It was all about me. And that's what led me into this work that then I started the journey 20 years ago. I went back to school for nutrition and became a holistic nutritionist. And then was like, after a couple years of that, I'm like, yeah, this is great, but that wasn't the main thing for me. The main thing for me was more of the psychological aspect and the emotional aspect and the spiritual aspect. So then I kept my studies going and went to the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, which Ashley, you went to as well. And I actually helped Mark David, who's the founder of that, launch the Institute in the form that it is now. So after I went through the whole program, I ended up working with him, and it was a beautiful journey.
Mhm.
And what else can I say about that? And then I was like, okay, now I want to help other people in this realm. And so for a while, I was just working with food and body for like 10 years.
Mhm.
Now I work with a lot of other subjects as well for people. It's sort of expanded and evolved into different aspects of personal transformation. And my passion now, honestly, I still love working with food and body and all that, but I would say my biggest passion is applying this work to professional impact, to who you are in the world as a professional, as a mission-driven woman, applying it in that realm.
I love it. Started small and you went big. Or
Yeah,
expansive. Yes, yes, yes. You know, I'm going to go to the beginning of your story and then we'll work our way through it because it's
sure.
just so powerful, I think. Let's start there and watch it grow. So, when you were talking about how now they label what was going on with you at the time, that it wasn't even in the realm of knowing, right? And so now they're labeling it the binge eating disorder. When you and I worked together, I was afraid to eat, but it wasn't really about anorexia. It was something different. Well, did you know that they now have a name for it?
No.
ARFID.
ARFID?
ARFID. My grandson was afraid to eat, to go from bottle to soft food to crunchy food. He wouldn't eat, wouldn't eat, wouldn't eat. And they took him to a professional,
Yeah.
and I was there one day. She's working with him on the mechanics of his mouth and helping him to get adjusted to that texture being in his mouth and swallowing and stuff. And she said, "Oh, yeah, this is ARFID." And I go, "What?" Here, what had been in me, I am seeing in my 12, 18-month-old grandson. I mean,
Wow.
it was bizarre. And I thought, wait a minute, I thought I cleaned that energy up before he was ever born. What happened? So it's very fascinating to me
That
how it
is fascinating. Thank you for telling me the official name.
right. Who would have thought? We were both kind of trying to figure out what is wrong with Ashley. What is this?
And nothing's wrong. It's just called fear.
Right? It is. It's just, I know. But I think it's also interesting that labels are put on those things when why can't we just call it all across the board? All it is just fear. From what you had to mine to someone who has bulimia to someone who has anorexia, it's just about fear of presence on planet Earth and who you are, you know?
Yes. And I'm going to add another layer to that, that it is about fear. And on an even higher level than that, it's about disconnection. It's about disembodiment, disconnection with some aspect of yourself. Fear is often the first thing that comes up in that disconnection, but disconnection can show up in many ways for people.
Oh, that's beautiful. That does deepen that a lot. Hmm. Hmm. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, what would you say if you feel free to share? What was the disconnection within you?
Yeah, certainly free to share. So the best way I can answer this is to just give you a simple overview of what I call the embodiment advantage method to understand how it applied for me.
Okay.
It's very simple. In my world, we have 4 channels of embodiment. So meaning we have 4 channels through which we can be embodied in our body in human form. Those 4 channels are very simple. Physical, meaning I'm in the physical body, everything that has to do with the physical body. Mental, emotions, and spirit centered. Those are our 4 channels. And in each of the 4 channels, in any moment of your life, you are either strongly embodied in each of the channels, or you are not so strongly embodied and you're anywhere on the scale, right? There's no such thing as perfection. No one is like perfectly embodied in all 4 channels at all time. It varies, it dances. So in my case, using that model, I was disembodied in all 4 channels. And often when you have something big going on, a big imbalance, like an eating disorder, you are disembodied in all 4 channels. So do you want me to give more context for that, or does that kind of answer?
Oh, it's great. If it's some good meat, let's do it.
Yeah. So I'll to help explain that a little bit more. So, okay, how was I disembodied in each channel? Physically, completely disembodied in having a relationship with my body, right? I was the opposite. I hated my body. I didn't want to be inside of it. I didn't want to look at it. I didn't want to hear anything it was telling me. There was like no connection to my own body. And if there was any kind of relationship, it was super negative. So that's being disembodied in the physical channel. Mentally, being well embodied mentally means you are very aware of your thoughts. You are very aware of what you say to yourself about yourself. You're very aware of what you say to yourself about the world and everything in between. And we can also say a strongly embodied person mentally has a good relationship with their thoughts, right? Not that their thoughts are always perfect all the time, but they have a good relationship with their thoughts. I, as very disembodied mentally through that period, was the opposite. I did not want to know what I was telling myself, and I did not want to hear it or deal with it or face it. And B, whatever I was telling myself was horrible. It was the worst negative thing you could possibly imagine. So I was very disembodied mentally. Emotionally, similar concept. Strong, well-embodied person through the emotions channel of embodiment knows their emotion, feels their emotion. They're not scared of their own emotions. When they have emotions that are troublesome, they breathe, they face them, they process them. They understand emotions are a part of being human, and there's no need for fear here. I was the opposite. What did I do? The second I felt anything I didn't want to feel, which was usually disempowerment, disappointment in myself, negativity, hopelessness, I'd start stuffing my face. Very disembodied emotionally. Spirit center channel of embodiment is all about being connected to who you are, your values, your passions, your purpose, your raison d'être, as I like to say, your reason to be. I was very disembodied in that channel. I didn't think I was ever going to make it on Broadway. So what am I here for? What's the purpose of living? I can't do this. I don't have any talent. Just completely the other way. No connection to my worth. No connection to who I really am inside and what my strengths are. Does that help?
It's so beautiful. Yes, and as you're tapping into those and telling your story inside you, I'm like, yep, I was there. I was there. I mean, yeah, disconnected in all 4 areas.
All
Yes,
4 areas.
all 4. Wow. And probably most people, I believe, are pretty much like that. If they're not disconnected, it seems that most kind of ignore, right? There's this, I'm going to just ignore that for now. I think people's health declines because they just ignore all the warning signs. They disconnect that way through that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
to me, that involves all 4 areas, doesn't it? Would
it.
you say?
Absolutely. We're a whole person. We
Right.
have four channels of embodiment that are constantly talking to each other and connecting and working with each other. And that's the idea of whole person healing, right?
Right.
And to what you just said, often when somebody has a health challenge, a physical challenge, instead of leaning into it and getting more embodied to heal that challenge, they will pull back and get disembodied. They will want to step out of their body and not understand it and not face it and not deal with the pain of it and not look at it. And we can't heal in that space. We cannot heal in disembodiment. It's impossible. We
Amen.
have to start strengthening our embodiment to be able to heal, even though it doesn't always feel good to
Mhm.
get more strongly embodied. It doesn't always feel good.
Right. Right. The action steps you have to take are not always the ones you want to. However,
They're
yeah.
uncomfortable often.
Mhm. Yeah, because it's that soul work. It's that emotional work. It's the mental work. And to me, mental strength is like one of those things where you've just got to be on it. And many times I have seen, and I'd love to know if you have too, that sometimes there's just this weakening in the mind because of the fast paced world, the overscheduling and chaos that people put into their life, that the mental fitness of themselves declines because of that. Do you find that?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'd say it's like an epidemic. It's a problem for so many people.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, Cynthia, who is your favorite client to work with? What's your favorite?
That's such a fun
I know
question.
it was me. It was me.
It was you. Oh, anyone, it's you, Ashley. Definitely. And I'm not saying that like facetiously, it's true.
Oh my
But
goodness.
okay, I'll play and I'll give you a profile. um, I think my favorite person to work with it's honestly not, I can't say just a woman because I love working with men too. I love working with all genders. So it's any gendered person who is mission driven, where you feel like you've got a clue what you're on this planet to do and you're in process of doing it.
Mm,
So are you super successful? Maybe, maybe not. That's not the qualifier. Are you super happy all the time? Maybe, maybe not. That's not the qualifier. The qualifier is you feel something inside where you say, I'm on this planet. I'm doing this. I'm building a business. I'm running a nonprofit. I'm, a manager in a company and I love this company I work for and I'm leading all these amazing people. And that's what lights me up. Like it can be anything that you feel mission driven about and you're in pursuit of that. Those are my favorite people to work with because then we can sort of start there and then we can say, okay, now what's going well, what's not going well. And we start to look at the areas that feel like they're not going well. And I translate that into, okay, this is where you're more disembodied. And here's how we start to strengthen it so you can make your impact and guide your mission even more.
wow. I love that because the person who is mission driven is invested in their life, right? So it's not like you have to start with, okay, let's get you invested in your life and then we can do the work. It's people who come to you already have that intention in their life. Is that right?
Correct. And I
Yeah.
want to be clear, like, most of the people who come to me are in the business world in some way, shape, or form. But I certainly also work with people who are not, that their mission is more maybe social action or something with their family. My mission is to raise these kids that someone else abandoned. I work with a client like that for a while. Like she was clear, her mission was to help children who had been abandoned and had been through abuse, and her mission in life was to raise healthy children.
Mhm.
So it can be something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it doesn't really have to be like this huge mission. It's just a purpose, a reason for being.
Yeah,
Yes.
like I'm not your person to find your purpose, probably. I'm your person once you already have a little bit of a clue, and then we can refine it.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. So people come to me, like in my retreats and stuff, that's where they discover, they know there's something,
Mm,
they know they were created for something, but they just can't quite put their finger on it, right?
mm,
So when they come to the retreat, they leave that clarity of, oh, now I know who I am. And then they would jump into your program to get them
love
all
it.
put. That's
Yeah.
cool.
I
That's
call
cool.
it what, like, one of my taglines is elevating physical, mental, and emotional performance. So
Mm,
elevating your human performance in all of
mm,
those categories.
yes, yes. Now, I do have a question for you, and I was going to see if I had it brought up because if you don't mind, I think I'm going to share it if I can find it here real quick.
Sure.
Um, Cynthia, on your website, this is kind of us kind of taking one little step back, but oh my gosh, it's just on your about page. You were speaking about how you felt about yourself during your dancing days, right? And what that felt like for you. So there is a picture on your about page and it's under the dance category. And there's this adorable picture of you with so much energy, right? And presence. And it looks like you're totally embodied. Now, is this picture from the days of,
No.
um, it's not.
That picture was my 40th birthday show that I did.
Oh, I remember when you did that.
That's
Okay.
from that show.
All
So
right. So y'all
I was
look at
40
that.
years old there.
I love it. Oh my gosh, you're having so much fun. So
Yes.
much fun, y'all. Oh, um, I highly recommend that we're going to be putting Cynthia's website in with the where it's in the description of the show so that people can go to your website and look you up. But it's cynthiastadd.com and Stadd, am I pronouncing it right, Stadd?
It's
Or is it
actually the ugly way. It's Stad.
Stadd? Stadd, cynthiastadd.com. And she has a wealth of information on there to help you understand who she is and where she came from and what she is desiring to do and where she's serving in the world. So be sure and check out her website. It is beautiful. And one of the programs that I did with you after our one-to-one coaching was your food and body war program. What
Yeah.
I didn't say that right. Say it for me.
And your food war.
And your food war. Yes, that is a great online type of approach to get Cynthia's coaching if you're in that food war the way that I had been, or maybe you're in a different kind of food war. But that's a really good program.
Thank
Yes,
you.
very well done.
Yeah,
Very
I
well done.
developed the program for people who honestly couldn't afford private coaching, right? Because not everybody can afford private coaching.
Mhm.
And I had so many people coming to me who were like, but how can you support me? Did you write a book? Did you do something else? And I'm like, nah, I'm not a book girl, but I do like creating courses and programs. So I'm going to put all my expertise in a program. And I ended up building this, what ended up being a very comprehensive program. There's over 20 videos, audios, action guides, exercises. It's really comprehensive. And I ran it for years as like a hybrid where everybody would start together. I'd meet with everybody once a week who was in the group. They'd also have all the self-paced content. And now I don't do that anymore. So there's no live groups anymore, but it is all now transformed as a self-paced program. So it's only $300. You buy once, you're in for life. As long as I'm in business, you have access to all the content. You go through it at your own pace, and it's there. So it's
Yeah,
it if you resonate with this idea of food war and body war and the battle, it's your program.
it is. Yeah, it's a good one for sure. Yes, I loved it. Yeah, it was a great enhancement, even off of the one-to-one coaching. Right, it kind of kept me in the loop with it.
Yeah. My private clients all have access to it for free, but I wanted to make it accessible for anybody.
Yeah, right. Yes, yes. So let's, before we close down, I do want to touch on the embodiment advantage because that is like your big thing right now. That's what you're highlighting. And So you spoke about the mind body connection inside of that. Is there anything more that you want to share about that that the viewers would love?
Yeah, I mean, I think the basic idea is that the mind body connection is the foundation.
Mm,
It's the basement of the house, right? We can't do anything. We can't build a house on top of no foundation. So what's the foundation of any work we're going to do? It's strengthening the mind body connection. So that means, first of all, understanding what it really is, understanding the different aspects of it, and then what are the tools that you can use to start strengthening your mind body connection so you are getting more embodied in each of the four channels of embodiment.
mm,
That's what it's all about. And there's no one size fits all. I've got hundreds of tools in my toolbox, and how they apply depends on what you're trying to transform, what you're trying to heal, what you're trying to grow. It goes in lots of directions for different people. I have clients that come to me and they just want to focus on body stuff, health, body, weight, relationship with body. I have clients that come to me. I'm working with leaders in a certain organization right now, and their whole thing is emotional resilience. I want to show up as a strong leader. I want to be non-reactive in my communication with the people that I lead. I want to have a certain kind of executive presence. I want to think in a way that positions me as a really strong leader where I'm making strategic decisions and I'm just showing up every day, with what comes out of my mouth and my body language in a certain way. So there's lots of different applications, and it just depends what you need, what you want.
right. I love that. So you're almost a one shop for everybody, right? Because you can go in all these different avenues to bring it home for someone. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes. So obviously private coaching, we go where you want to go. And then I've also got company-wide programs that I put into companies, organizations, a set group of people who want to go through a program together. They can
Mm.
learn all the fundamentals and then I help them apply.
Oh, wonderful. Do you like which I'm just curious, which segment do you like working with? I know you love both, otherwise you wouldn't provide both, right? So let's do it this way. What is your favorite thing about working individually with someone? And then what's your favorite thing about working with a company?
That's a great question. No one's ever asked me that. I love that. My favorite thing about individual is how deep we can go together, and that I get to be a part of a very deep healing transformation journey of another person, which is the thing that lights me up most in the world. That's the first bit. And the second bit about individual is that it's fast. When we're working privately, stuff moves fast. You
Mhm.
know, it's just us. There's no rules. There's no like, oh, we have to follow this program or anything like that. It's just, let's go. And I'm a fast mover. So my clients are often like trying to catch up with me. I'm gonna push you. So that's what I love individual, and the group stuff I also really love because there is an energy of a group when people come together for the same purpose, who all want to grow, want to transform, want to learn. There's so much magic and healing that happens just in the group, just because the group is there, the group is sharing. There's things that reveal that um, don't necessarily get revealed just one to one.
Mm.
So I just love that format too. It's different, but
It
they're both great.
Yeah, and it adds that the spice to your business, right? Because it's not the same all the time. It's different. And so you're just continually, yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
So, Cynthia, we are going to, we normally will stop the recording and stop the live streaming. However, with you as this guest, I would love to keep the live streaming open just in case there is people watching the live stream on Amazon Fire, Roku, or Apple TV are the three platforms that we air on. And so I think the Q&A could be very valuable for everyone. So I'm just going to keep it all going if everybody's good with that. If you're in
absolutely.
the audience, are you thumbs up okay with us staying live stream when we open up the lines? Okay, good deal. All right. Well, y'all, let's open up the lines. Let me unpin Cynthia and I. And Cynthia's, where are you? Where's yours? Hold on a minute. There we are. It's over there. Now we're all together. All right, y'all, this is Cynthia, and we have about 15 minutes to do some Q&A. And do you have questions for Cynthia? She is a vessel of information, y'all, when it comes to food and body, emotions, mental, everything. So ask away, right, Cynthia?
Ask away.
Well, I have one. So how do you spell the term that you use regarding your 18-month-old grandson around fear of eating?
I think it's ARFID.
ARFID. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, Cynthia, when that therapist told me that, I was like, there's a name for it? Of course there's a name for it.
As the years go on, they have a name for everything.
Oh my gosh. Yes, they do. Yes. So those of you in the audience, is there an area in your life, in your relationship with food? She is brilliant on the relationship with food. And I know that several of you I have worked with in that arena. And if there is anything in that, you have a hesitation because I'm present that you don't want to go to another coach, I'm here to tell you there is no way you could ever offend that in me, right? It is like Cynthia is my mentor on everything food and body. So if you have a question that has to do with something that we have done together or something that you're experiencing now after the fact, I would love for you to ask Cynthia. I would be interested to hear what she has to say. Hello there. Hi, Jenny, right? No, go ahead. Let me see. Ask to unmute.
It's Peggy.
Peggy. Yes, Peggy. Hi, Peggy.
Hi,
Sorry
Peggy.
about that. Hi, Peggy.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Good. I got here a little late, but I was listening to your speaker and she was talking about emotionally. I noticed that the other night when I was watching the basketball games for the high school championship, I just wanted to stuff my emotions down my throat, like with food. And I was wondering how to stop that. Do you just sit with that urge, or do you feel that horrible feeling of, because I get so anxious, even though I don't have anybody on the team, but it's like my children's high school basketball team going downstate. I, I thought maybe I could try to figure that out.
Well,
Love it.
first of all, thank you so much for asking the question, because you are not the only person experiencing that. And I'm sure someone else is kind of nodding their head. And I want to commend you because you're actually past the first step, which is knowing what you're feeling. The first step in healing emotional eating is having the bravery and the consciousness to be able to even say, I feel this. You just said right now in this exchange, I feel anxious.
Anxious.
I'm eating, right?
Yeah.
So many people don't even know what they're feeling. They're just stuffing it in, which was my story, right?
Yeah.
So you've covered step one, my friend, which is what are you feeling? Being able to even feel emotion. Beyond that, to work with this, you kind of have to do the thing that you don't want to do, which is fully feel and process that feeling in the moment. Right? You've developed a pattern, you've developed a behavior of feel something, which in your case is anxiety. In response to that feeling, I don't want to feel that. That's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? There is no magic pill to stop that. There is doing a yoga class at 6 a.m. in the morning is not going to stop that.
Yeah.
The only thing that's going to stop that is in the moment, having the bravery to stop, to pull up that feeling in your body. It's in your body, right? It's already there. And to go through a process of what I call processing the feeling, right? Processing the emotion with the goal of bringing it back to neutral in that moment. Because I promise you, if you do that and you bring the emotion back to neutral, your urge to eat goes away.
Eventually, yeah.
Eventually.
Come down to,
Right.
it's just
So,
getting, realizing and doing that.
it's doing it. It's doing the work in the moment, which is hard to do.
Yeah, because you're afraid, you don't know what's going on. You're like, what is wrong with me? What's, why am I doing this? And it's like a brain, a habit brain, or an urge to just swallow those emotions instead of, I was a cheerleader years ago, but so I tried doing cheers for them, and I tried drinking water and coffee, and but I wanted to just swallow that, just stop it from happening. And I thought, why can't I get to a place where I'm just happy for them, and this is exciting, and this is normal, and I don't want to be dead, I want to have emotions.
Yes.
But
so all that's happened here is you've developed a pattern of developing fear around feeling something. And you very smartly came up with a really nice way to not feel it, which is put food in your mouth. You helped yourself. Well, not in the big term, but in the moment.
Yeah.
You did something to make yourself feel better, right?
Yeah, for that
No
moment.
shame in
And
that. No
then
shame in
I
that.
hate me, then it's, why did I do that? Shame, 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 So it's a big circle.
A big
And
circle.
I just wanted to stop it. And I thought she's gonna say, sit with that urge.
Yeah, that's what it is. So there's a couple lessons in the End Your Food War program specifically devoted to emotional eating and how to do this, of what I'm saying. Like there's an actual whole video on how do you process emotion. So that might be helpful for you.
Okay, great. Well, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy, for asking that. That was
Thanks,
awesome.
Ashley.
Great question.
I wasn't sure how to raise my hand.
No, you did it beautifully. If your hand is up, the deal.
Let's see, lower hand. Okay.
There you go.
Yay.
All right. Anyone else have a question for Cynthia? Tanya, were you unmuting? No? Okay. Y'all don't be shy now.
I love that accent.
Yeah, I was afraid I used up all the time.
No, not at all. Not at all. We've got another 5 minutes to go if anybody wants to step forward. I know when I was experiencing all of that, when I was in the muck of the darkness of my body and my weight and not being able to eat and stuff, that it's, to step forward and ask a question around it's kind of scary. It's very kind of intimidating to express the self, lay open the heart and the wound, because as women, we're supposed to have it all together and and show up, pull ourselves by our bootstraps and, just keep going. And, that really isn't, it doesn't help anything to be in that place. And Cynthia, I do want to bring up one thing that just had so much power for me when I was working with you was the script that you gave me for before I ate that spoke to the little girl that was at my round table in my head. Y'all, she wrote out this most beautiful script that I was to read to my little girl, the little girl in me, before I ate every time. And that was so powerful because it helped me, like what Peggy was bringing up, that, she's in the moment with that emotion and she's wanting to stuff. Well, when I'm in the moment with my emotion, it was deer in headlights freeze, I can't eat, right? It was that fear of putting the morsel in my mouth. But when I was able to be with that and speak to the little girl in me at the same time and process all of the emotions that were in me by saying that script, it was like it just helped everything melt away to where I could be present with the food and eat it without that rush of fear adrenaline, right? Yeah, that was powerful.
Thank you for sharing that. I honestly forgot that.
Oh, not me. That was too powerful. Yeah.
Thank you, Ashley. Thanks for bringing that up. And I'm so glad it's like a tool that helped you so much.
Yes, certainly did.
Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah. Y'all are being so shy. And this is my group that's not shy typically. Come on, girls. Y'all are usually like this. What's happening?
I was thinking maybe I could do that same thing, Ashley, but only in the reverse order. Like, I can eat. That's my problem, And so, most of the time, but I could just, sit with that little girl, or maybe I could write her a letter or something.
You
That,
certainly could. That'd
that
be
kind of
beautiful.
work is so powerful, the inner child work. I'm a big
Mhm.
fan, obviously.
Yes. Well, I mean, and you say, Ashley, you say you have to be, you're shy or whatever. But the thing is that you get to that point where, I mean, here's help for you. Here's two gals that are, have programs that are willing to help you. And if you can't reach out for your help, I mean, yeah, I guess you have to be hurting enough
Mhm. Mhm.
and want to change.
Yeah, there is a saying about that. It's the pain of change must be greater than
No, much
the
much
pain of
less.
not changing is greater than the pain of change. Yep, before you'll do it. Yeah. I always get that kind of flipped around.
Yeah.
Well, I had to walk out of the loud room that I was in. Everyone was like screaming. So I did that. And my question, I think, isn't really surrounded by like emotions or anything like that. I don't really know how to frame this one up. But for me, I think that poor eating habits come from not um, spending the time that I need to spend to prepare myself to make good choices. Does that make sense?
It does.
So, like, the pace of my work day is such that I don't really I work in appointments. And so I don't, it's kind of like I start my day and however it rolls out, I just roll with it. And so there are times where I have time to sit down and consume lunch. There are times when I don't, which just leaves maybe a unhealthy pattern to go. And I have 3 small children, so that is consuming a lot of my time and energy. So for me, I really enjoy eating healthy and all of those things. I don't feel like I have disconnection. I was really loving the way you walked through that, Cynthia, the disconnect. And I was really thinking about that. I don't think any of that is, but I think the bad patterns that I fall into is simply because I really feel like I do not have the time, and I know what Ashley's going to say about that, to really invest in being prepared for the day or however you want to say it. But
What is Ashley going to say about that? Let's start there.
she's going to say there is time and space for everything. That's what she's going to say.
That's
Which
where
is
my mind
true,
went
which is
too.
yeah. I mean, and that's true. It is true. I think that it's a matter of prioritizing things. And because my kids are small and I have a somewhat demanding job, I don't feel like I can prioritize. I feel like it gets shoved to the bottom of the
So
pile.
Kelly, I'm hearing this as a half belief system problem and a half tactical problem. I
Yeah,
think
I would say it's mostly tactical.
you think it's mostly tactical.
I maybe I'm missing something, but I think it is.
Okay, well, here's the thing. If it was mostly tactical, then I could give you 3 tips right now to get more food in your body during the day and get healthier food, and you would do it, and it's not a problem anymore. So if it's mostly tactical, then that's just a how problem, meaning you
Yeah.
just honestly don't know how to solve the problem and get a little more food in your body or get good food in your body.
Mhm.
Is that true?
I would say that is mostly true. It's not I know how, I think it's finding the time to do it.
Okay. That's fair. Okay. So I'm going to answer that for you easily with on a tactical level, right? We're not going to go in the belief system right now. So you've got 2 aspects of making it work tactically: prep and in the moment. So if you're telling me you don't have time in the moment throughout the day to like deal with food and put a meal together and all of that, then you have to do it beforehand. There has to be a routine that's formed, like on a Sunday, where you're going to chop up all your veggies and you're going to throw together a little sandwich or something, and it goes in a Ziploc, and that's what you grab. And then when you have only 2 minutes to eat in the middle of the day, it's prepped, it's ready, it's in your mouth, right? So that's what I mean by prep. So do you have to find the time for that? Yes, you do. You have to find the time for the prep. And that's what I mean by, if it's only a tactical problem, then you're going to hear me say this and you're going to go home and do it. Right? Because I think for you and the lifestyle you're telling me, that's the tactical way it's going to work, is like really when you do have an hour or 2 of downtime, is really thinking through, how am I going to get good food in my body and what do I need to prep to make that happen?
Yeah,
And
I agree with you. It's a matter of also like wanting to use my time that way as well. Like, and
that's the
that
belief
maybe is
system
more of the
part.
belief system.
Yes. Yes. That's the belief system part, where a little unconsciously or subconsciously, you might be saying to yourself, I don't have time to prep. I don't have time for that. Too many other things are important. This isn't important. My food is not that important. That's where I challenge you on the belief side. What do you think
Yeah,
about that?
and I love that. And I think that that's the part that like maybe I I know it up here. It's a matter of like really like it mattering more than just talking about it, I guess. And so that's an interesting I don't know, I keep swirling around that. And Ashley knows. I keep swirling around that, trying to figure out where to land, I guess, and move forward in that journey.
So the
So,
question I would invite you to ask yourself over and over and over is taking the time to prep my food worth it?
mhm,
And why?
yeah,
Is
that's
taking the
good.
time to prep my food worth it? And why? Keep
Mhm,
asking and answering that question over and over.
yeah, that's good. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Good. You're welcome.
That was great, Kelly. Thank you.
Wow, we are close to the top of the hour already,
We
Ashley.
are, y'all. All right. Anybody's question that would last a minute? Anybody? Anybody have anything? All right. Cynthia, what? Oh, thank you. Okay. Next call. Bye. Cynthia, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
All
so
right,
welcome.
everybody. Thank you. Y'all, thank you so much for joining Ashley's Heart Song. Be sure to join us next week as we continue to armor up our lives. We will see you then.